Hi, this recording is to demonstrate QuickTime, a great and powerful feature app that is already installed natively on a Mac computer. So QuickTime is actually a video player, somewhat like maybe Windows Media Player on a PC, and you will have seen it probably if you're looking at viewing a video from YouTube or from wherever. You double click on it, QuickTime Player opens up and plays that video for you. So it can do a lot more, so I'm going to demonstrate to you how that is possible. So to access QuickTime, all you do, I have it on my dock, but you can actually go to your Finder and go to your Applications folder and scroll down, and QuickTime is simply in your hard drive under the Q. Here it is. There we go. You can find it that way. Open up your hard drive, or you can use your Spotlight search. If you start typing in QuickTime, it comes up as well there. So however you access it, you click on it to launch. Now, you'll notice it, when I clicked on it, it became immediately the active application. However, there's no window. Most applications we're used to seeing a window that pops open and we can do whatever we need to do. But QuickTime does not have that. You know it's the active application by just seeing the name in the upper left-hand corner of your Mac. So we're going to look at the three features that we have available to us: new movie recording, new audio recording, screen recording. Movie is using your built-in camera or a webcam attached to a computer to record you. New audio recording, that's just simply an audio recording. Just straightforward. If you want to make an audio recording to narrate a digital slide presentation or anything else, you could use that. Screen recording is going to record whatever is on your computer screen. So we're going to look at all three, and then we're going to combine them so that you could have a picture-in-picture recording for your students. So I'm going to start out with new movie recording. When I click on new movie recording, it opens up the camera. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. It opens up your video camera so you can see yourself. When I move my mouse away, I lose my toolbars. When I move my mouse to hover over the window that's just opened, then I can see you are capturing yourself. You have the volume control. You can check your settings, and you have a little tiny drop down arrow right next to the record button, so if you needed to make any adjustments there. So in order to do a movie recording, all I do is click record. So I'm there. Now we are recording this, and so tra-la-la-la-la, this is a test. I'm going to stop the recording. When I stop the recording, I don't have a message, but if I click on my red button to close the window, it assumes I want to save that. If I don't want to save it, I just hit delete. If I do want to save it, I just name it something, and I'm going to save it on my desktop, so I click save. Immediately saves it. Here is that little movie right down here on my desktop. So to launch it, I can double click. There it is again, always with a flattering expression of yourself. And so I can just play whatever I recorded there. Now, so that's what we just recorded. So I'm going to go ahead and click out of that. And anytime I click on my desktop, you'll see that it goes back to Finder, which is that home screen of your computer. So to make QuickTime active again, if you think you've lost it, this is the most common problem I've heard. Click on the app again, and there it is. It's back. So we did a movie recording, used our camera to record ourselves. And that's a great way just to do a simple recording, to record a lesson for your students, and in whatever length that you want. Now, an audio recording, if I click on that, I get the audio recording. Here's just the little player. And if you played an audio recording, a similar toolbar has come out and it plays it. I have something similar. I have a little record button, drop down arrow with settings if I need to adjust. And to record, all I do is click on the record button. So it's black. I can see it's in effect. I see the sound going up. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. I'm just recording something. Now I'm going to stop by just clicking on that button, and I can immediately play it if I want to. Click on the record button. So it's black. There it is. Same thing. If I click on my little red button to close it, it reminds us, thankfully, that we need to name this something and save it wherever you want to. I have it saving on my desktop, so easy retrieval. So I'm just going to put it down there. Now, one thing I wanted to mention The file I just saved, it is this file right here. It looks like an iTunes song. iTunes is now called Music, but it's a .aifc extension. That's just another kind of audio extension. So if I were wanting to play this, if I double click on that file, it opens up my iTunes, which is now called Music. So my music, and if I wanted to play it, oh, sorry, wrong file. If I wanted to play it,
so it's black. I can see it's in effect. I see the sound going.
So that's a recording we just made. And so that is a sort of a default set on the computer if you're on a Mac, but you can change that. I could also, if I wanted to have that little toolbar back, I could also go back to QuickTime and I could go File, Open File, navigate to that file I just created. Remember, it's number 2.aifc. Open it up, and it opens it just like I recorded it, because like a lot of other things, like a PDF, for example, you have the choice of right-clicking on that file, or any file for that matter, and opening it with either Acrobat Reader or Preview on a Mac, or different apps to open it. So that's how I can open it if I want to with QuickTime Player. So I'm going to blank that out, get rid of that. Now we did an audio recording, movie, audio recording. Now we're going to do a screen recording. When I click on screen recording, it turns my mouse immediately into a camera. And that camera also, I can either click on that camera, but I probably want to select my tools. I get a little toolbar here at the bottom. And on the left-hand side of the toolbar here, there are 3 tools that are similar. The first one is Capture Entire Screen, Capture Selected Window, Capture Selected Portion. When this is captured, this is talking about a screenshot. So this is just a still, a photo, camera click. So when I click on Entire Screen, I've selected that. Now I go up, my mouse is a camera, and I just click. You hear that camera click, and it's done literally a click, a screenshot of my entire screen. So you see all the toolbars, everything there. And so that's my screenshot. So when I try to close that window, I can also save that if I want to. I don't want to, so I'll just delete it for the moment. Now I want to go back. Now that opened in preview, right? So I click on QuickTime to go back, and I want to do another screen recording. Get my toolbar back, mouse is a camera. Now I first selected the Capture Entire Screen. Now I'm going to Capture Selected Window. Now I need to, first of all, I need to go back and, hang on, let me just hide this window. I need to open up quickly open up a blank screen. Let me get another browser screen or another window. Let me just open up my hard drive. Here's 2 windows. So now when I go back and click on QuickTime, and I do a new screen recording. When I select the second item here, this is Captured Selected Window. So when I click on that, now that tool's activated, and I go with my mouse and I can hover over either this browser window that's open or my Finder window that's open. So whichever one I want to take a screenshot of, I just click on that. I'll just do the browser window. So it did a capture of just that window, so nothing else. So that's what that looks like. I'm going to delete that as well. I don't really need that. Let me close this window. Okay, so let's go back into QuickTime Player, new screen recording. Again, we get our camera right away, so if you're concerned with your mouse, that's supposed to be that way. It's on the screen capture. So we did the entire screen, we did the selected window, now selected portion. So if I click on selected portion, it gives me sort of a pre-selected portion. Your shape might look differently. It always remembers the last one that you selected. This portion has little drag handles, so you can resize this, reshape this however you want to. You can take it in the middle, the mouse turns into a hand. I could drag that someplace else. So if I want to drag that over here, do a screenshot of that, then I can go ahead and click capture. So it's captured that portion that I selected. So very often that is the case. I'm going to delete that. I don't want to keep it. So that is the case when you're wanting just to provide a screenshot to someone of a specific portion that is visible on your desktop screen. So I'm going to go back into new screen recording. And so now we are going to go to another tool. Those were the 3 windows for capturing, the 3 possibilities for capturing a screenshot is entire, selected, or a capture selected portion of the screen. Now on the right-hand side, I can actually now record. This is where I want to do video recording of my screen so that I could demonstrate something for my students or someone else. So if I select record entire screen, then it's going to record the entire screen, exactly what I'm doing. Now, a couple of ways I can do this. I can either click the record, but I've selected that tool, or click the camera. When I've clicked it, I know that I'm recording when I'm doing a video recording because I look in the upper menu where I have QuickTime Player. At the right, there's a little button. It's kind of hard to see, very unobtrusive. It's this little dot. That means it's recording. So now I could demonstrate something, opening up a window. I could do a search, blah, blah, blah. I could demonstrate something for my students. I could minimize the window. When I'm finished with my recording, whatever that might be, all I do is click on that little dot in the top to stop it. It automatically opens up the recording I just made. Opens up in a large window, as you can see. This is laying right on top of my regular desktop. So I'm going to go to one of the corners and just resize that, make it smaller so you can distinguish more easily. So here's the recording of the screen that we just did. If I wanted to play it back, remember when I move my mouse over the file, my toolbar pops out. This is like a QuickTime Player toolbar that you'll find in any other windows. I can move that around, in fact. When I move my mouse away, it disappears so that that doesn't obscure my view. So to play it, I click on play.
I know that I'm recording when I'm doing a video recording because I look in the upper menu where I have QuickTime Player at the right.
Remember, I have my little scrubber window. I could go through as a student, say you were demonstrating how to multiply fractions. I could go through to the part that I didn't know and start playing from there if I wanted to.
Demonstrate something.
So recordings, pre-recording lessons is very handy because a student can go right to that section. If they didn't hear you, which how many times they say, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? They could go back themselves to the part that they missed and play that over and over again if they want to. So I see now in this window, I see, I'm going to go back to the very beginning. So I can see the length of my clip. It's 34 seconds. I have the ability to adjust the volume. Here's play, fast forward, fast move back. I can share this with a mobile device of some sort, PlayStation, Apple TV. I can also add this to other apps if I wanted to. This minimizes that screen if I wanted to, and I click to maximize it again. So it's recorded the whole screen, everything going on in my screen. So when I click out of that, it actually has saved that. I don't have to name it. It just gives it a generic name. It's called screen recording. It gives me the date and the time. So I could then, if I want to name it, which presumably you do, I click once to select that movie, that item, just like you would click once to select a folder or anything else. When I click on my enter key, I can then name it whatever I want to. I'll just call that a test right now. Now I'm going to go back. We finished with that screen recording, and I'm going to go back to QuickTime, and I'm going to go File. I'm going to do another new screen recording. We still have this same toolbar that we have for capturing screenshots or recording. Now, this is where we were last, record entire screen. Now I want to record just a portion of the screen. So if I select that, make that selection, it's already sort of pre-selected where we were before. So if I want to move that to someplace else, I can do that, and I can change the size, do whatever I want to. And so we'll just put the flower right in the middle, and then whatever happens within here, within this area, is going to be what is recorded. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger actually, because it's not too practical a size, even if it's just selected. Now when I click record, It's recording, so anything that happens there and nothing's happening, I guess I better do something so that you can see that. Let me go to a browser, get a window, so you can just see some sort of movement. So everything's happening right in this area. You might want to be aware of that if you're selecting your area, make sure it's large enough or small enough. Some people like to just do, and I'm going to stop it. I stop with the same button. Some people like to just record a portion of their screen because maybe you have a lot of files stuck on your desktop and you really don't want those to be visible. So that's okay if you want to do that. When you play, you can play it right away.
It's recording, so anything that happens there and nothing's happening, I guess I better do something.
Here's my little scrubber bar. So this is what we just recorded.
Do something so that
I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Close this window too. And it, just like the whole screen recording, is just saved automatically on my desktop with this generic name, screen recording. It'll have the date and the time. And again, I can rename that if I want to. I'll call that test 2. And so those are my 2 types of recording. Now, the very powerful feature of QuickTime is that you can combine those 2 to create a picture-in-picture video, which means you have a picture of yourself talking to your students on the screen, which you're recording everything and demonstrating something for your students. And very often that's how a lot of our tutorials are created. Students love to see their teacher's face. They like to have that input. And so I'm going to show you how you can do that, even though it wasn't originally designed necessarily for this purpose. So the way I get this to happen is I click on New Movie Recording, because remember, I want to activate my camera so it's capturing my face. Well, I say that. I'm going to, oops, sorry, turned it off. New Movie Recording makes a big screen. We kind of freak out when we see our faces so large. So I'm going to reduce the size of this. I'm going to make this tiny. And then remember, when I move my mouse away, those pesky little tools disappear. Now I'm just going to take this window and I'm going to move it down out of the way in the bottom. I just want to make it kind of minimize it. So my head's barely showing. There I am. Now I'm going to go back. I'm not starting that recording. See, I haven't recorded that. I just ignore that. I just open it up. Now I go back up to QuickTime. And since movie is now recording and the audio that is built into that movie recording is also activated, those are not available to me. But now I can do a new screen recording. So this is the instance where I want to go down and specify that I record my whole screen, my entire screen, because it's going to get my face in the bottom too. So then I can click record, or I have my camera back and I can just click to start recording. So I know I'm recording. I glance up, I see the little dot. So we're recording here. I can do, let me do something. I'm just going to activate an app. Here is a video editing tool. That's not too exciting, so I'll close that window. And anyway, you get the idea. There's some various types of whiteboards you could be using. Here's a browser screen you might want to demonstrate to your students. I'm going to show you how to go in and do this, organize your bookmarks, whatever you might want to teach them. So when I'm finished with my video lesson with myself in it, I go up and I click the stop button, and it stops that whole recording. Remember, it opens it. It was an entire screen, so it opens it in a really big window on top of my existing desktop. So I'm going to one of the corners till I get that diagonal bidirectional arrow, and I'm going to reduce the size proportionately. Let me close this little browser window. And now this is the recording that I made. Now, when I click play.
So I know I'm recording. I glance up, I see the little dots. I'm recording here.
So now you have a picture.
I can do, let me do.
So I can scroll through to wherever that is. And so I just recorded myself giving a lesson. Sorry, let me stop it. That's too much going on. So I just recorded a picture-in-picture recording for my students. So that can be a very, very handy feature. That works just like Zoom, like Google Meet. There's Screencastify, there's Loom. There's lots of different apps out there. And right now in our district, we're focusing on the tools at hand that are already installed on our laptops. Easy to use, free, and easy to share. And so any of these that I have done, I'm going to go ahead and click out of that. And now I want to close this window too. I don't really need that movie window open. And it has saved that recording just like the others on my desktop. So I want to open it up. And it always opens large if you've been capturing the full screen. So then I'll just close it. Then if I want to share that, I can just take any of those, drag them up to my Google Drive in whatever folder where I store movies or lessons or however you organize it. I can click to select that item, get a shareable link. I copy that link into a Google Classroom assignment, lesson, and bang, you're good to go. The students just have to log onto their classroom, click on the link, and they're going to see your video. So it's as easy as that. I love this QuickTime. It is a great and powerful tool. You know what, actually, one other thing I wanted to show you about QuickTime. If you have all of this going on and your file is long, it might extend and become quite a large file. So you might want to reduce the size. So when you have your recording, let me open it up. You have to select the recording. So I have one open now. And now I can choose that rather than just using that whole file, it may be too big. So I can also export as to reduce the size. And if you're not sure which size to choose, I would recommend 480p. That is a good quality. You're really not going to use any quality in anything. And that's kind of the size of the YouTube videos that you will find when you're going to YouTube to search for something. And so then that would be another feature. There are actually also features for editing clips, trimming clips in the QuickTime. It's really an amazingly powerful little tool. I would also mention to you in the help, if you're looking for help, how does this work again? Click on Help, QuickTime Player Help, and it opens in a separate window. It's all got a lot of good tips, and you can also just click on the table of contents. They pop out, so you can choose directly the immediate item that you would like to see some help on. So that's it for now. I love the way QuickTime works. It can be a powerful tool to support your instruction. Thanks.